What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You guys join me with my new to me 2006 Porsche Cayenne 955 body style. If you guys missed the unveil video of this car, I'll go ahead and link it in the top right hand corner, but I recently purchased this car. It's kind of a project car, daily driver, just something to sit alongside the 2019 C63 AMG that I also have on the channel. But in this video, I wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown of some of the cool, interesting quirks and features, as a much bigger car YouTuber might say, of the 955 Cayenne. These are just a couple things that I've noticed with the car over time that are really cool, and some of the other things that maybe leave you scratching your head a little bit. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first cool, interesting feature of the 955 Cayenne actually starts right with the key here. I'm holding it in my hand, obviously. It is based off the Volkswagen switchblade key that they were using all in the 90s and the 2000s. You can see it does have the Porsche emblem at the back here. You have the 3 buttons for the unlock, lock, and for the lift gate. You obviously press the button at their back to kind of unfold the key. But if you look at the actual design, you can see it is modeled right off the front of the Cayenne here, which looks really cool. And if you go to if you actually unlock, you can see, yeah, a little bit of the green emblem or the green light right there. So really cool to see that. So we'll go ahead and hop in the car here to show you guys another cool, interesting feature of the 955 Cayenne. Obviously, getting in the car is no different than really any other car. Good step in height, obviously, with the SUV, and with all Porsches, this is pretty standard now. With the ignition on the left, you just put the key in the ignition. But what you can do now is actually just put your foot on the brake and just flick the key once, like so, and it'll do the whole startup procedure. You don't have to kind of flip it a couple times to start it up. So that's really a nice, convenient feature. Another cool feature of the 955 Cayenne actually revolves around the sun visors here. So we'll go ahead and put the sun visor down as you would with any other car. You can unlatch it here and flip it over to the left to block out the sun that way. But you also have a secondary visor just like so. So you can almost have a kind of an L-shaped 90-degree angle of blockage for the sun there, which is pretty cool. And actually, you also have a mini one right here as well. So if you go ahead and do all the sun visors in this car, you can basically be totally surrounded with sun visors. I do not recommend driving this way whatsoever, but it is really cool to kind of see how much flexibility there is with blocking out the sun. So moving down the center console presents the next cool, interesting feature of the 955 Cayenne. So as you can see, these are the kind of this is the climate control area over here, but as you can see, it's mostly covered. You do have to pull this cover down that says Porsche to kind of expose the vent controls and the reset and econ modes and everything. But the other thing you'll notice, if you go ahead and turn the actual climate control on, is that there's no temperature. There's no actual digital, numerical readout of temperature. You just have this low and high bar right here. I think this is a base model thing. So like the dual zone climate controls on the upper trims of the Cayenne have the digital readout, but for the base models, you can see you only have this kind of low and high dial right here. And the other thing worth noting about these climate controls here is the vent control and actually where the air comes out. So you can see there are these 3 buttons right here, an up arrow, kind of a vent design outline right here, and a bottom arrow or a downward facing arrow right here. So as you would expect, pressing the up arrow right here is more of the windshield defrost, this upper vent right here, and obviously the bottom downward facing arrow is the footwell. But this button right here actually is an outline of these vents right here. So that kind of threw me off at first. I was trying to get the air to kind of blow right at the driver's face here, and I could not figure it out. And then I realized that this button right here was an exact almost outline of these vents. The next interesting feature of this car actually revolves around the steering wheel. So pretty standard steering wheel for Porsche at the time. You can see you still have these weird kind of manual controls for the transmission, for the Tiptronic right there. But what I'm actually going to talk about here is behind the steering wheel. You can see there's this button on this side, and if you move over here, there's also the similar button on this side. So as you can see, the illumination on the steering wheel is on right now, obviously because the headlights are in auto and it's a little bit darker outside. If you go ahead and press one of those buttons behind the steering wheel illumination will turn off. As you can see, I pressed it again, it'll turn back on. You can do the same thing on the left side. So I'm not really sure what this feature is for. I guess it's to remove distractions from all these, lights on the wheel. But the fact that you can do it on both sides too is also really interesting. So let's go ahead and move down the center console here to talk about another cool feature. It's not really that interesting, but it is still cool to see, is that these grab handles are a Cayenne trademark. Obviously, the first gen Cayenne is really well known for its off-roading capabilities, and I guess these are for the driver and passenger to hold on to if the car is at a crazy angle or something like that. The new Cayenne still have this, and they are crazy sturdy. Like, I'm applying a lot of force to this thing, and it is not moving. So let's go ahead and move to the rear of the Cayenne to show you guys another cool feature of this car. If you guys missed the unveil video with this car, the kind of aluminum looking trim back there is peeling a little bit. But nonetheless, I did want to show you guys that there is a hidden button to pop the glass under the rear windshield wiper. You just press that like so, and it'll go ahead and pop open. I actually had no idea the 955 Cayenne had this feature at all. The previous owner actually showed this to me. So that's really, really cool if you just want to load things in without kind of opening up the entire tailgate here. And you also have a little hidden Porsche logo. It's a little tough to see them. The window's a little dirty, but let's go ahead and hop in the car again just to show you guys another interesting feature of this car. As you can see, the car is completely turned off. The key's out of the ignition. I'm holding it in my hand right here again. And the headlights are in auto as well. And yet the volume knob for the radio is still illuminated. I am not sure the purpose of this feature. Apparently it stays on for 5 to 10 minutes, even after the car is turned off and locked. Like I said, I have no idea what that is for, but something interesting that I've discovered as well. So the last interesting feature of this car, before we lose too much daylight here, is actually under the hood. So if you guys haven't already been able to tell, this is the base Cayenne V6. It is the 3.2 liter engine that was available in 2006, 250 horsepower. It's shared in the Volkswagen group, obviously, with the Passats and Golf R32 of the time. But the badging is deceiving. This is not a V6, this is a VR6. And without getting into too much technical detail, the kind of cylinder banks sit at a different angle than a traditional V6, meaning it's a lot more tightly packaged and everything like that. But I just think it is interesting that they do still brand this as a V6. But outside of that, guys, those are some of the cool, interesting quirks and features of the 955 Cayenne that I've discovered over time with my ownership of this car so far. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for a ton of cool content coming very soon on this car and many others. And I'll catch you in the next one.